Good evening. Welcome to the Saturday Sport, where we'll be reviewing sport that I want to talk about and all that other stuff that you might think is important that I don't care about will be completely ignored. So that's, that's how it's going to go. I don't know if it'll work or not, but hey, there we go. First of all, can I have a sound check, please? Because I have completely redone my PC, and by that I mean I've changed the motherboard and CPU. So hopefully it's a bit better. It certainly seems to be a bit faster. Although we are slightly late because YouTube decided it wanted to know that I was actually really who I said I was, even though I've been logging into it for the last 2 years to do these live streams. So I had to jump through a few hoops on my Google account to get in. Sounds brill, says Dread Eye. Excellent. Good. Right, so let's start with Formula One because Formula One's in a real mess right now. We just had the Monaco Grand Prix, which was one of the most boring races I've ever watched. It was just a procession. The qualifying was good because qualifying effectively is the race in Monaco unless something happens. And it was nice to see local boy Charles Leclerc win the race. In fact, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Prince Albert was crying, Princess Stephanie was crying, Cheryl was crying. Everybody was greeting on the podium. Although Sainz wasn't greeting on the podium because he wasn't. He'd probably have liked to have won it himself, but he's got a lot on his mind just now. But yeah, the Monaco Grand Prix was a complete non-event. It was a case of you ever seen the velodrome? When they cycle round the track and they go as slow as they possibly can, so as that somebody has to go in the front, and then suddenly, bang! Somebody brakes and they all go hell for leather. Well, the Monaco Grand Prix was like that, except it didn't have the exciting part where somebody breaks and they all go hell for leather. It was just basically go as slow as you possibly could and keep your tyres in good condition while keeping everybody else behind you. It was a complete non event. The high spot was Fernando Alonso holding up half the pack so as the idiot Stroll could get a free pit stop because he'd worn his tyres out early doors. And that was it. What a joke. I mean, at least in Monaco, there's loads of nice scenery to look at and stuff like that, but not great. Not a great experience, and Formula One needs to do something about it because it's no good. The cars are too big, they're too heavy, they rely too much on downforce, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. But regardless of that, Sainz has been holding out for a Red Bull seat, and that was kind of kiboshed at Monaco because it looks like Red Bull are actually going to give Checo Perez another year. He wanted two, and he put forward the case for two, and Red Bull said, no, you can have one, like we originally said you could have. So I think Checo will be stupid not to sign for it because he won't get a drive anywhere else, or he won't get a drive of that caliber anywhere else. So I think Checo will sign, which means that there isn't going to be a spare seat at Red Bull because I don't think Max is actually going to jump to Mercedes yet. But we'll see what happens. I tell you, if I was Max, I'd be seriously considering going to Mercedes right now because I don't think Red Bull's going to have an engine in 2026 when the regulations change. But that's me, and let's face it, my career choices haven't necessarily been the best, have they? so, so Max Verstappen, multi-millionaire, still in his now in his early 30s, and me, living in a van. So there you go. Maybe Max has got it right. Well, he certainly has got it right. Anyway, the young Saints, the young Carlos Saints has to do something. So hello, dog meat. Hello, Julie. Everybody else. So the young Carlos Sainz has to actually do something. He's got to go to a team, and it's now looking like it's either going to be Williams or Sauber stroke Audi when they become Audi in 2026. And I think he's by hanging on so long, he's narrowed his choices. Mercedes aren't going to take him because Mercedes Mercedes want this guy Antonelli, and it would be crazy for the only person that can go to Mercedes is Verstappen, because Verstappen would go and he would have a multi-year contract. Sainz wouldn't get a multi-year contract. So Sainz isn't going to Mercedes. He's not going to Red Bull. He's either got to go to Sauber, which is Audi, which, let's face it, his dad has had a long and fruitful career with, and still has to this day, racing Audis and rallies and sports cars and Le Mans and stuff like that. So sensible, keep the family thing going. Join Audi, and Audi will throw money at Formula One until they win, I think, because that's kind of what they tend to do, isn't it? So that would be a kind of sensible, longer term goal, because it's going to struggle in the short term, because let's face it, Sauber's not exactly setting the heather on fire right now, and they've got a lot of work to do. But I think they get there in the end. And the thing is, the team would be built around Sainz, so it would be his team. The other one is Williams, because Williams appear to be making a serious play for him. Vils is doing a good job. I've got to give him credit. He's gone in there, he's settled the team down, and he seems to be steering them in the right direction. He's a bit like Fred Vasseur has done with Ferrari. He's steering the team in the right direction, and they've settled down, and they're starting to make a difference. And Williams have done so as well, and he signed Albon on a multi-year deal, which gives them some stability. They need to get rid of Sargent, because he's nearly as bad as Stroll. I think to be fair, I think Sargent could probably be better than Stroll. But Stroll's just a complete liability. He just needs to go. But if your dad owns a team, who's going to tell you to go? That's the thing. So it's going to be between Williams and Sauber. And that's it. That's it for Formula One. Apart from the fact that the angry Dutchman, Jos Verstappen, father of Max, has been stirring the pot again, saying that Red Bull's falling apart. Christian Horner isn't doing a good job. We need to get rid of Christian Horner. And Jos obviously wants rid of Christian Horner, and that's one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why they won't have Red Bull and Carlos in the same team anyway, because the last time they were under Toro Rosso, there was a bit of friction, not so much between Max and Carlos, but between Carlos Senior and Jos. They just didn't get on. So, but the angry Dutchman's been stirring the pot again, trying to get rid of Christian Horner. So we'll see what happens here. It'll play out at some point. It's all good, clean fun. And of course, Toto is still sitting in the wings going, come to me, Max. Max, you want to be in my car. Was ist das? Right, moving on to another sport that I care nothing about. Football. And in particular, women's football. So Scotland played Israel last night at Hampden Park with a total audience of one, who was swiftly unchained from the goalpost that he'd managed to psycho lock his neck to, and escorted from the premises, because it was meant to be behind closed doors. So this guy, obviously very secure, he got in and managed to padlock himself onto the goalpost. Apparently, the girls all took penalty shots trying to hit him, and not one succeeded. But no, I jest. But Scotland, on one of those rare occasions, actually beat Israel 4-1. So, yay, go Scotland. Well done. There you go, that's that. Wales drew with the people they were playing. Can't remember who it was. It was of no consequence, because Wales are now out. And Ireland got beat, I think. Ireland got beat by Sweden 4-0 or something like that. So there you go. So that's the update on the sport that I know about. I think there might have been a football match on today. I'm not sure. I'm sure someone would tell me, but there you go. There was about allegedly 400 protesters outside Hampden Park complaining about Palestine, that technically we have nothing to do with, especially Scotland. But so these 400 protesters, I saw a picture, and I think you'd be lucky to count 40 there. It wasn't well attended. So there's that. Right, what's happening? Yes, I think you're right, Adam. The ID number on the motherboard would be different. I'm surprised Windows actually fired up without any complaints or anything. It just went. I just had to change the boot device, but that was all. Would you watch EV racing? EV as in an electric vehicle. I've watched it a couple of times and it's pretty uninspiring. The first time I watched it, battery technology was that bad that they had to have two cars because they couldn't complete a race with one car. So, and you can't you're recharging an electric battery takes ages, so your pit stop would take like 30 minutes. so, so instead of that, you drive into the pits and drive out in a completely new car. So that seems a tad wasteful. That really doesn't go with green energy policies, does it? But now I think they're managing to get a complete race on one battery load. But it's like a video game. You know, they drive over things and get boosts and overtake modes. It's just ridiculous. It's like, come on, you know, actually be better just watching them play on a PS5 or whatever. I know that clown. I say that clown, but he's not really, is he? But Max Verstappen during the Imola, the Grand Prix in Imola, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. During that, he did two stints of endurance racing and sim racing, and like 2 hour stints driving around Le Mans, simulated driving around Le Mans. He's angry as well because he got banned from a race for deliberately ramming someone after they'd cut him up at a corner. So he rammed them off the track. Now, Formula One might be more exciting if people were allowed to do that. It would certainly add a whole new dimension to it, wouldn't it? Um. So what else was in the thumbnail? The footballing girls, Verstappen, Sainz, the guy changed his elbow. That's about it. I don't think there's much else happened. What's going on with all the bike wankers though? Twitter just seems to be completely full of bike wankers and wankeresses now. It's just unbelievable. It's you can't. It's and or maybe it's just that Twitter knows that I don't like cyclists, and just keeps throwing them at me because it's like I mean I like the dwarfs, but I haven't seen a dwarf on Twitter for over a week now. It's just it's not doing very well, is it? It's just not doing very well. Um, what else have we? What else can we talk about? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Uh, there was a protest today, wasn't there, in London? In fact, there's quite a few protests today in London. I don't know how they went. I'm hoping they all went peacefully and there wasn't any trouble at them. I know Tommy Robinson was down there. Just Stop Oil were going down. Um, I don't. I'm not sure who else, but do we really care? Do we? I mean, what is a protest? What's the point? Especially on a Saturday, because who are you disrupting? Shoppers, tourists. You're not disrupting anyone else. Nobody else is there. So I don't understand protesting. I know it's convenient for you, the protester, because you don't have to miss a day at work. But you're not putting anyone out. If you're going to protest, put people out. Do it on a weekday. Do it when people are going to, when you're going to disrupt the running of the country, disrupt the economy or whatever. I mean, that's how the French do it on a lot of occasions. But yeah, I think if you want to do proper protest, you've got to try and be as disruptive as possible the within the bounds of the legal system. Uh, yeah, that's what I would do if I was protesting. But to be fair, is we're past the point of protest now, aren't we? Really, what is the point? And in a lot of occasions, we seem to be protesting, or people seem to be protesting for things that we can't really change, and the UK not going to make a difference. For instance, like You can protest as much as you like about Palestine and what's going on over there, which is fine. You take your virtue and you run with it. But it's not going to make any difference because there's only one country that can make a difference to what's going on there, and that's America. And all it needs is Uncle Joe to pick up the phone and say stop. So until he does that, it's going to keep going as it is. So that's the problem there. And it doesn't matter how many people in this country go, oh, don't do it, stop. You think Netanyahu's sitting back watching the BBC at night going, oh my God, there's a lot of people in London moaning about us. Oh, who cares? Yeah, I'm sure he is. Well, I think that might be it for this week, or for this Saturday, the Saturday Roundup. I think there was. I'm not sure. Was the Champions League final or something on today? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I think somebody put something on Twitter about was it free to win? Oh, there's more news. More news. Breaking news. It's coming in. It's coming in from the ether. So the you know how Mr. Tyson had a medical emergency on a flight. It turned out to be a flare up of an ulcer. And now he says he's okay and he's fine. But the fight has been postponed and we're going to get a new date. So they've put the fight back. I don't want this not to happen now. I'd psyched myself up for it, and Tyson did look like he was in full blown beast mode. So if he's trying to wheedle his way out of this, I'm not happy. Just not a happy bear. But we'll see what happens. It's just, it's a huge Netflix deal, and he can't go to Paul. He can't go to Jake Paul and go, "Don't punch me in the stomach." You know, it's a body shot, isn't it? But, yeah, just hit my face. He can only improve it. Yeah, she probably could. Yeah. Right, there you go. There you go. Well, I think that'll do us for this evening. Well, thank you very much. It's been great for you. Bye bye.